Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Okay, we are continuing after a year break. Canto 5, the creative impetus. We are in chapter 4. Yeah. The characteristics of Rishabhadeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, we are actually looking at the family of Priyavrata from Swayambhu Manu's sons. So, it's Priyavrata's. And then from Priyavrata, his son is Agnidhara. And then his son is Nabhi. And then Nabhi, actually, in the last chapter, if you remember, wanted a son just like the Supreme Lord, Vishnu. Yeah. So, in asking for that, the Lord said, "There's nobody else but me." So he personally comes as Rishabhadeva. Okay. So the boy is taking birth. So text 1. So probably you can check.
Shri Shuka Uvacha.
Shri Shuka Uvacha.
Atahatam utpatyaiva bhi vyajamana.
It's in prose, it is not in meter. So just change some Vedic meter, yeah.
Shri Shuka Uvacha.
Shri Shuka Uvacha.
Atahatam utpatyaiva bhijayamana. Bhagaval Lakshanam Samyopasama Vairagyaishwarya Mahavibhutibir
It's not a sloka.
Anudinam
Prose.
Anudinam Yedamananubhavam Prakritraya Praja Brahmana Devatas Chavani Tala Samavanayatiram Jagruduhu.
Okay, translation. Sri Shukadeva Goswami said, as soon as the Lord was born as the son of Maharaj Nabhi, he manifested symptoms of the Supreme Lord, such as marks on the bottoms of his feet, the flag and the bolt, etc. This son was equal to everyone and very peaceful. He could control his senses and his mind and possessing all opulences. He did not hanker for material enjoyment. Endowed with all these attributes, the son of Maharaja Nabhi became more powerful day after day. Due to this, the citizens learned Brahmanas, demigods and ministers wanted Rishabhadeva to be appointed ruler of the earth. Now there is an incoming call from Radhika Gopinath. Okay. Basically, one of the things that you find here, and Srila Prabhupada also highlights, is the symptoms of a incarnation. Okay, so people just can't say I am an incarnation, right? If they say, then you can say, okay, show me your symptoms, show me your symbols, show me your four-handed forms, or whatever you can ask. So here one of the things is, from the very beginning, they saw in his lotus feet these markings. Now sometimes Mahapurushas also, that means not necessarily avatars, but even highly evolved personalities can take birth, and they may also show some bodily signs. Just like when Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur took birth, they saw those symptoms in him. So they know he was a Mahapurusha. That means some associate of Krishna can come also. So for us, this particular verse indicates to us that the Lord, when He takes birth, there's always some signs or symptoms that we can identify. It's not somebody who rubber stamp and say, I am God. You can't do that. So based on scripture, we know exactly nobody can claim to be God, and if then they must show certain symptoms, or you can study like that. Even when Mahaprabhu came, he is known as Channa Avatar, that means covered avatar. Still, he exhibited certain physical attributes and pastimes and symptoms, and they could tell. And also in his lotus feet, he had all those symbols and signs, and so people can say he is not a ordinary person like that. And then the other interesting is that the people in that city, when they saw Rishabdev, they were saying that he was becoming more and more powerful day after day. What does it mean that he's becoming more powerful? What did you understand by that? Spiritual. What else? Prabhupada mentions, you can see in the purport.
Beauty, fame, renunciation.
Yeah, his opulences.
Six
So he was fully exhibited. He was showing his 6 opulences. And the other aspect is he wasn't actually attracted to material things, and that made him also very powerful. Right? If you are attracted to material things, then you become a competitor to another person. But if you are not attracted, then people will want to. They are attracted to you because you are not attracted to what they want materially. So then they are attracted to you because you have a spiritual thing and something they want from you. It is like that. When you're not interested in material things, people will want to know what are you actually interested in, like that. So, in that sense, they found him very powerful because he was exhibiting knowledge. He was exhibiting his supreme opulences in different levels, and they were all very astonished, and therefore they were very attracted to him. And because they were attracted to him, they wanted him to be the ruler. So obviously, when you read this particular chapter, it may appear that they're talking about a fully grown Rishabhadev, and then later on they talk that he's taking birth like that. So it's just the way it is. Sometimes you will talk about someone, and then he'll talk about what he did when he was younger, or something like that. So that's particularly what you are going to notice here. So this particular incarnation, everybody could see, and they were talking about him like that, and they were all accepted his position as the personality of God here.
So he's a proper incarnation, not like a Shakti Avisha avatar.
No, he's a proper incarnation because he's exhibiting his 6 opulences. Okay. It's not Avesh, okay, not Shakti Vesh. Text 2. You can just chant in a Vedic meter if you know, like Tasya hava yittam vashmana varishyasa brihat shlokena chojasa balena shriya yashasha bija surjavyam chapita rishava itidam nama chakara. When the son of Maharaj Nabi became visible, he evinced all good qualities described by the great poets, namely a well-built body with all the symptoms of the Godhead: prowess, strength, beauty, name, fame, influence and enthusiasm. When the father Maharaj Nabi saw all these qualities, he thought his son to be the best of human beings or the supreme being. Therefore he gave him the name Rishabha. So that means is Rishabha already grown, or is he giving the name after he grown? Right? So that's what I mean. So here actually he's giving him another name. It appears like that because he sees all his good qualities. Rishabha means the best. Okay, the best of everything. So again, Srila Prabhupada's point is, you just can't rubber stamp a incarnation, right? You must know the symptoms. So if I were to ask you what are some of the symptoms, you should be able to list the symptoms, right? And say these are some of the things we expect in a incarnation. Okay, so you should know that. And that's why Srila Prabhupada is trying to say in the purport that we shouldn't be just blindly following, we should also question. But we question in a nice way. Yeah? Text 3.
यस्य इन्द्राः स्पर्धमानो भगवान् वर्षेण भवर्षा तदवधार्य भगवान् ऋषभदेवो योगेश्वरः प्रहास्यात्मा योगमायया स्वस्पर्शं न जाना भं नामाभ्यवर्षत्.
Indra, the king of heaven, who was very materially opulent, became envious of King Rishabhadeva. Consequently, he stopped pouring water on the planet known as Bharatavarsha. At that time, the Supreme Lord Rishabhadeva, the master of all mystic power, understood King Indra's purpose and smiled a little. Then, by his own prowess, through Yogamaya, his internal potency, he profusely poured water upon his own place, which was known as Ajanaba. Okay, that is the place. Yeah, a few things you accept. Srila Prabhupada also wants to highlight that in the particular verse or prose, Sukadeva Goswami indicates that King Indra as Bhagavan as well as Rishabhadev. The only difference he say is that he qualifies Rishabhadev's Bhagavan as Yoga Ishvaraha. Okay, to show that this is the Supreme Person, whereas Lord Indra is an empowered person. Okay, that's the difference. That means one person is put into a post, the other person don't need to be put in a post. Person already naturally is the Supreme Lord. Okay, Master of all mystic, Yogeshwara, Yoga Ishvara. But in the Bhagavad and many of the scriptures and Puranas, it is natural that the demigods who are in a highly ranked, they are sometimes addressed as Bhagavan out of respect, because they are behaving or performing duties on behalf of the Supreme Lord. Just like Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, even Narada as well. Okay. Now, in the purport, in the middle of the purport, Srila Prabhupada also wants to indicate that Rishabhadev wasn't just, taking the post of a king or not. He also exhibited his potency, and that was when Indra refused to put the rain or pour rain. You can see this is the mentality of someone who's very envious. Yeah. So within your own life, you'll see when people are envious, they will withdraw their potency from you or their help. Or they will say, I'll pick you up to work, and then because they become envious, they say, I can't pick you up. It is like that, because we are materially contaminated. But one who is supreme, he is magnanimous. One who is beyond this kind of enmity or enviousness, they are magnanimous. They want to serve people. Right? Service, the person you serve and the servant are only found in the spiritual realm. So when you take that mood, then you're acting on the spiritual platform, transcendental platform. Alright? So when you go the other way, then you're acting on material platform. So Srila Prabhupada is indicating that. Therefore, the Lord is Almighty. Because He's willing to do service even when He takes birth in the so-called birth in the material realm. So Prabhupada also wants to emphasize to us about Kali Yuga, that eventually all the water is going to go, which you can see already. Right? And in some places they are already selling water. Okay. And he wants us to understand that if you do not perform yajna, which is part of the function or duty of mankind, you're supposed to do yajna. From yajna you get rain. From rain you get grains. Yeah. So those things won't change because it's part of the Vedic injunction. So yajna must be performed. Krishna says that to Arjuna also. So Prabhupada's point is, even though Rishabdev and all the people in Ajanabha were doing the yajnas, our friend became very envious and he withdrew. So the Lord, out of His mercy and affection, just smiled, said this guy is foolish.
So, question, Prabhu.
Yeah.
So, why Indra, like, Govardhan Lila also rain only, here also rain actually, so he doesn't use any of his other weapons.
Yeah? He is in charge of the rain.
But he has other like Vayu and...
His
he
associates, but here it is a personal thing,
But Indra is not personally like responsible for rain, right? He sends Varuna Deva for water.
No. Rain is under
No,
his...
not that.
Okay.
Inside. It's not working.
He's in charge
Go
of
to the
rain
inside
and
one.
all,
Oh, that
producing
side he sends the thunderbolt
Yes,
and
yes,
ice.
yes.
Okay. So water is responsible by
Yeah,
Varuna.
water is Varuna.
Water is water.
In terms of usual quantity, but Indra takes charge of rainfall. That function, just like in the spiritual world, if you are serving Krishna, one person will boil the milk, another person takes the milk, and third person may be at the door taking from this person bringing the milk. So it's the same, the function is bringing the milk to Krishna, but you see so many people involved. So similarly, in terms of the demigods, there are some demigods who are, his function is just to create rain. Yeah, not the water. The person in charge of water is Varuna. Yeah. So in any case, we are supposed to do yajnas, and our yajna in this Kali Yuga is meant to be Sankirtan, chanting, so we should all chant nicely. If we just chant whimsically, we will not see the results we are hoping for. So similarly, we have to understand why Srila Prabhupada is emphasizing that, because we shouldn't forget our duties in Kali Yuga. Okay? So the other point I want to highlight is, the Lord is, in the first canto, first verse is Janmadhyasya and Anyavra itaratas charteshu abhigya swarat. So here he is showing his swarat, independent of everybody else, independent of Indra. It's not dependent. So therefore he is showing, I don't need Indra for water. So therefore he smiled. When you think about why the Lord can do anything, he just flick and then Indra can die also, but he just smiled because he's a fool. I don't need him actually. And that's one thing. The second thing is, Indra is also bewildered. So in the second verse of the first shloka, Muyanti Yat Suraya. And Suraya means
Demigods.
and sages.
Yeah, sages.
Right? Great sages and demigods. Okay. Even they are put into illusion. Therefore, when when the Lord became or came as Rishabhadev, Indra got bewildered. So now what to speak of us, right? Indra is so almighty, and he was put into illusion. So therefore, we are dependent on the Supreme Lord for so many things. So that's a point highlighted here. And similarly, if you are dependent on Krishna, then Krishna will take care of you. Just like there was no rain in Hyderabad during Prabhupada's, and so what did Prabhupada do?
Sankirtan.
Send them out on Sankirtan, and then the rain came. Just like that, because he was dependent on Krishna. Therefore, he showed people how it's done. That's very nice for us to get proof like that. Text 4.
नाभिस्तु यथा विलासितं सुप्रजस्त्वम् अवरुध्यति प्रमोदो भारविह्वलो गद्गद क्षरया गिरा स्वैरं गृहीत नरलोक साधरं भगवन्तं पुराणा पुरुषं माय विलासितमतिर्वत्स ततेति सानुरागम् उपालालयन् परां निवृत्तिम् उपागतः.
Yeah, Sukadeva Goswami is speaking in a poetic way. He's not like going in meters, so that's why it's in prose. Translation: due to getting a perfect son according to his desire, King Nabi was always overwhelmed with transcendental bliss and was very affectionate to his son. It was with ecstasy and a faltering voice that he addressed him, "My dear son, my darling." This mentality was brought about by Yoga Maya, whereby he accepted the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Father, as his own son. Out of his supreme goodwill, the Lord became his son and dealt with everyone as if he were an ordinary human being. Thus King Nabi began to raise his transcendental son with great affection, and he was overwhelmed with transcendental bliss, joy and devotion. So the highlight here is King Nabi is put into illusion to see his son not as the Supreme Lord, even though he asked, he had the darshan of Vishnu and he asked for a son like him, and the Lord said, "I am coming as your son," and he knew about it. Still, the whole point is he is put into Yogamaya illusion. That's because the Lord also was had a great affection for Nabi, and he wanted to have this exchange with Nabi. Now, as you move towards into Krishna's pastime, the interaction is more intense. It's also more sweet and intense, very intense. Like when you churn milk with sugar, right? If you put a lot of sugar, you get thickened milk first. Then you do it becomes condensed milk, right? And then finally it becomes like rubbery, right? It's so sweet like that. So it's like that. So you're seeing a level of sweetness here that is not openly revealed. Generally we think Narayana means Nas Narayana, but still he also has that aspect also, but it is not as intense as in Krishna's pastime, right? If you look at Krishna's pastime in Goloka, then you go back a little bit, you see him in Dwaraka. Then you go back a little bit, Mathura. Then finally after the planet, then you come to Ayodhya. So the Ayodhya pastime is different. The sweetness is there also, but it's different. It is more covered by
Opulence.
pathos, right? All kinds of strong emotions where they lose things. The sweetness is mixed with dejection and losing things. It's more intense like that. Then on the other hand, if you look at the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's, then you see that their childhood pastime is more sweet, supremely sweet, and it is almost as equal to Krishna's pastime. And Srila Prabhupada says these things are very rare. This pastime is this baby pastimes are very, very rare of Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's very rare. So when we read that, we have to appreciate the intensity that's involved here. So the intensity Nabi is feeling so much so that his voice is choking. Not mundane reason, but because it is based on ecstatic symptom. Yeah. Okay, so that's the illusion. Okay, it's nothing else. So Prabhupada says he's certainly an illusion, but transcendental illusion. Otherwise they can't accept father and son role. Not possible. It's not possible. Right? Same with Dasarath and Ram. Not possible. He saw him more as a son. Even though he knew the Lord has taken birth. But it covers their relationship. The Vatsalya Bhav cannot take place. Text 5.
Viditanuragam apaura prakriti janapaduragabher Atmajam samayasetu rakshayam abhishitya Brahmanupeshani dhayasaha Merudevya vishalayam prasanna nipunena tapasa samadhi yogena naranarayanakyam bhagavantam vasudevam upasina kalena tan mahimanam avapa.
Translation: King Nabi understood that his son Rishabhadev was very popular among the citizens and among government officers and ministers. Understanding the popularity of his son, Maharaj Nabi enthroned him as the emperor of the world to give protection to the general populace in terms of Vedic religious system. To do this, he entrusted him into the hands of learned Brahmanas, who would guide him in administrating the government. Then Maharaj Nabi and his wife Merudevi went to Badrikashrama in the Himalaya mountains, where the king engaged himself very expertly in austerities and penances with great jubilation. In full samadhi, he worshipped the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Nara Narayana, who is Krishna in his plenary expansion. By doing so, in course of time, Maharaj Nabi was elevated to the spiritual world known as Vaikunta. Tan Mahimanam, okay, topmost place. So, what do we understand here? Basically, the son is grown up, he is ready to rule. And the king is not feeling that, no, I should stay another 5 more years. He's not thinking like that. He's not interested in that. He's so happy that I already have a qualified son who can manage the affairs. You'll find, like, particularly India is a very good example. The politicians are all very old, They're like 60s, 70s, 80s and still want to control.
Karnanidhi is 96 something.
Yeah, exactly. And he
Still he
doesn't
wants to be the chief
exactly.
minister.
Yeah. So therefore, it's a good example. You can see mostly you want to train younger people to rule, so they have better ideas or approaching the same problem in a different way. Sometimes even in programming, when you write a code, you do not know how to solve it. A fresh perspective is better sometimes. So similarly, that kind of mentality is not here in material things, because materially we think we know what to do. Right? In some fashion also it is affecting also in our movement also. That everybody wants to remain forever the temple president, forever the head pujari, forever the GBC, like that. No, we have to train people. Our whole role, Srila Prabhupada says, we are supposed to train qualified people, qualified brahmanas. Right, we're supposed to. How do you train them? You have to also put them in a position where they can work and find where they lack and stuff like that. And then you guide like that. So, So when he saw he had such a qualified son, immediately he said, okay, take care. And who did he entrust his son to? Okay, who else did this?
Dasharath, right?
No, Dasharatha.
No. No, in the Bhagavatam.
Or Dasharath, right?
Dasharatha, yeah.
They were established.
The one who's King Venu's son, right? King
Yeah.
Venu's son.
No, Prithu Maharaj.
Prithu Maharaj? You are saying Prithu Maharaj did that?
No, yeah,
No.
he
No,
didn't.
We didn't read that.
Both of them-
No, actually, yeah, you are right. He gave it in charity to his brahmanas, but they returned it back. It doesn't say specific, but first canto.
Angraj Parishit.
Yeah. Who?
Yudhishthira Maharaj.
Yudhishthira Maharaj entrusted Parikshit to who?
To the Brahmanas.
Huh?
To the Brahmanas. To the Brahmanas.
No, particularly one person. Yeah, brahmanas, one person. Who?
Kripa? No.
Kripacharya.
Kripacharya.
Yeah, Kripacharya. And who was Kripacharya?
He's enemy.
Huh?
He's
Enemy in Maha.
He fought against.
he's
He was,
Dronacharya-
yeah, he was
Dronacharya.
antagonistic during the war, but he wasn't an enemy. He was fighting on the
He was
Kauravas
a
side.
Brahmana. So.
And yet Yudhishthira Maharaj entrusted him. So this is the system this is the culture we are supposed to follow, you know. So just see, there's no enviousness. You know. That's a verse in the first canto also, right? Mukshava Gaura Rupa. And then Hitvam Patin Yata, and then the next one is Narayana Kala Shanta Bhajantihi Anasuyava. So it says one who is desirous of liberation, he is not envious. Yeah. So we see all these wonderful qualities and characters for us to at least emulate. Practicing good things are good. Emulation.
The similar theme we see in Kardamamuni also, like when his son, his
He
own
was-
son was incarnation of personality of Godhead,
Right.
but still he left home in order to follow the rules of the, like, he has to leave and take sannyas.
Yeah, that's the other portion. Nabi is retiring. Yeah. Once he has a qualified person, retire. So similarly also for all of us also, we can't work until you die. You know. Srila Prabhupada was on a transcendental level. His work was transcendental. So he said he wanted to preach until he died. So that is glorious. But to materially work until you die is not glorious, it's foolish. Yeah. So our plan should be up to a certain age you can say I will work, not more than that. And then boom, just go and preach. What else is there? You will not get anything more. It's like after you milk the cow, right, it will only give you what, 20 gallons? And then after that, how much more you're going to squeeze? What is it going to give? Give you a kick. Yeah. So the points, some of the points Srila Prabhupada mentioned is the Kshatriya king is under the guidance of a Brahmana. That means even in our own lives, we may make decisions, but we also need someone that we can go and talk to for guidance also. We need within our circles. All of you should have someone you look up to and ask them for, help me make decisions. And if you like Siksha Gurus or you can have many Siksha Gurus, so you can ask for guidance. And if they give you good advice, you should meditate on it and see how you can put to use. Don't waste the time of your Siksha Gurus. And then, every time take a notepad and go and take all the advice, but you don't put to practice. Don't do those kind of things because you're just not using those valuable instructions. The point here is the Brahmanas are able to give valuable instructions where the monarchy or the king can use it. That's important. That's what we are trying to understand. Oh, okay, this is very good. So, and then the other thing is the king's duty is to make sure everyone follows Vedic principles, right? So if we were born in a previous age, we were all finished. The Kshatriya king will come and cut us because we don't follow many things properly. So thank God we are in Kali Yuga, right? But essentially they would have to see the people are following Vedic culture properly, right? And like we are all second initiated, we think we are Brahmanas. But what is the duty of Brahmana? Not to cheat the public. That means we are supposed to give them Divya Gyan, right? The knowledge of the spirit, knowledge that you're not the body, like that. Otherwise our purpose is also not good. And in a way, Srila Prabhupada has empowered us to do that. We go out in books, we preach to people, we gather, we call people, have a Bhakti Viksha group or some teaching sessions, we highlight that. And in that way, in so many fashions, Srila Prabhupada has empowered us. So each and every one of us have the ability to perform the tasks of Brahmanas also. So we have to think about that and meditate. So then finally Prabhupada says, not only the Kshatriya has to engage everyone in their occupational duty, he says in addition, retirement at the end of life is compulsory. Okay? Unless you are doing transcendental activity. Material activities must be retired at a certain point. And then he highlights which is also highlighted in the verse, King Nabi's exalted position. Now you may say, what is that exalted position? That he was already feeling excessive. So he was happy to retire, he was happy to take up austerities. Austerities, penance and charity must be. Yes. So think about all those things. Each of you, as you're getting older and moving towards your goal in life, you have to perform some of these things. And see,
it can even purify the great souls.
Exactly, Krishna says that. So you should think how I have to approach these austerities in my life. How I'm going to do some penance. You have to start thinking about it, because if you don't think now, you can't think later anyway. Or you won't want to think about it. And so, if you think about it now, you can tackle it expertly later on. Otherwise you panic. It's easy to panic, Oh, what to do. And things like downsizing from a big house to a small house. All these austerities you take upon yourself and say, no, think about Krishna more like that. And so Krishna will give the mercy. He'll become pleased. How do you know that? He'll become pleased? Chaitanya Charitamrita. Who was the personality Krishna, Mahaprabhu tested vigorously? No, in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Raghunathas. Yeah. Right? Yeah. In Chaitanya Bhagavatam you see Kolavachya Sridhar. That was more teasing. But you can see in Raghunath Goswami how he actually wasn't, by his facial expression, Raghunath realized, Mahaprabhu don't want me. He was already taking so little thing and he was collecting grains where there was washed in the Jagannath temple, and then Mahaprabhu was saying he's like a prostitute. He didn't openly say it, but then Raghunath understood and he said, I'm like a prostitute begging from people first and now I'm picking on the ground. And finally he just took one drop a day, buttermilk. And then Mahaprabhu said, oh, that's so nice. So which means the Lord is pleased with our austerities. And who was the other person? He did that also, but in a milder aspect. Sanatana Goswami. What was his fault? His quilt.
Wearing his quilt.
Who gave him the quilt?
Some person.
Not some person.
His
Brother-in-law. Yeah.
Anupam.
Yeah. His brother-in-law.
Brother-in-law.
Yeah. Or uncle, brother-in-law, someone. gave him his relative gave him a very brand new one. So Mahaprabhu, what did he do?
Special look.
He kept looking at the chadar. It's funny though. He kept looking at the chadar, and Sanatana Goswami said, "Oh no, I better give it up." So that's one. So therefore, we understand that the Lord becomes happy that when we give up our hold on material things. Okay, this particular discussion takes place between Yudhishthira Maharaj and Krishna, no? Yeah. In what context?
Yudhishthira Maharaj asks, like, how come your devotees are becoming more and more poor, whereas devotees of Lord Shiva are becoming more and more wealthy?
Yeah. What was the pastime prior to that Yudhishthira Maharaj asked? If I am not mistaken, it's the pastime of Pondarak. He was displaying the artificial four hands, right? And so he was calling on Lord Shiva, Shivajwara, to come and fight, and then Lord sent his Sudarshan Chakra. That's right.
That verse Krishna says, Yasyaha Manigruhna.
Exactly. Then he asked that question, how is that? They have so many things. Then he says, why Yasya Anugraham? Gruna. Then Srila Prabhupada also quotes that verse also when he was going through difficulty, but he felt
It's great jubilation.
great jubilation. So that's what you are seeing here also, great jubilation, because you have a connection with Krishna. So pleased. So the Lord is having special mercy. So therefore, even if you go to the most difficult place, you feel happy. A lot of people, when they go to India, particularly Vrindavan and so on, Parikram, it's so austere. It's very austere because you go into the jungles and forests. They cannot handle it. Yeah. But if you think about the Lord and glorify the Lord all the time, those things become less of a problem for you. So therefore, because of his ability to focus always about the Lord, he felt great happiness, and eventually he left his body. But Prabhupada points out that he was in the stage of Jivan Mukta. Right? There's a verse in Nectar of Devotion. We study. What is that verse?
Dasya Haridasya.
Ya hasya haridasya karmana Jivan Mukta. So one who applies everything in his life in the service of Krishna automatically is Jivan Mukta. Just like that. So there are 8 symptoms of Jivan Mukta, and I'm not going to go into that. I want you all to go and identify those things, and that will be part of your study. So don't miss that. It's up to the end of that paragraph. So text 6.
यस्याः पाण्डवेय श्लोकौ उदाहरन्ति कोनु तत्कर्म राजर्षेर्नाभेरन्वाचरेत् पुमान् अपत्यताम् अगाधस्य हरेशुद्धेन कर्मणा.
So if the meter is easy, they can chant with you. Okay?
Yes.
Otherwise, there's no need. Translation: O Maharaj Parikshit, to glorify Maharaj Navi, the old sages composed 2 verses. One of them is this: who can attain the perfection of Maharaj Navi? Who can attain his activities? Because of his devotional service, the Supreme Personality of Godhead agreed to become his son. So many times we read here, there's so many personalities in the Bhagavatam, you see, who pray to God for them to become their sons or something like that. Sometimes they say, directly you become the son, sometimes someone like you they'll say. So it depends on how you qualify. So like that. So that is the glory. And then the next verse.
Brahmanyo anyakuto nabhe Vipra mangala pujitaha Yasya barhishu yajnesham Darshayamasu rojasa.
The second prayer is this. Who is a better worshipper of Brahmanas than Maharaj Nabi? Because he worshipped the qualified Brahmanas to their full satisfaction, the Brahmanas, by their Brahminical prowess, showed Maharaj Nabi, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana in person. And these Brahmanas are not ordinary, by the way, because by their yajna, they also brought Narayana. and when they also prayed to Narayana, and what did they say? They said, we are fallen Brahmanas. Why? Why did they say that? I mean, after 1 year it's hard to remember. They said that because Maharaj Nabi wanted a son. Whereas, if you can approach Narayana, what would you want? Yeah, at least go back to Godhead.
So same like the pastime of Chitraketu and also not Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj.
Dhruva Maharaj also felt the same way, and Chitraketu also realized later that what he asked the Narad Muni and Angira Muni was wrong, Yeah. But yeah, so it's good to realize and then not to make the mistake again. It's okay to make a mistake unknowingly, but then it's best is not to make mistakes. But we all are going to make mistakes. So what we naturally have to do is learn from those things in a favorable way. So here we see Nabi became good because he was also worshipping the Brahmanas as exalted. He never treated them as unqualified, like who? His predecessor. Vena. Yes. Yeah. This is a very exalted lineage. Dhruva Maharaj, very exalted. Except for one mistake, Vena, everything is perfect. These are not ordinary Brahmanas. Simply by their worship, the Lord came on behalf of Nabi. Okay. Similarly, King Dasarath also was very qualified through the worship of who was the sage? No, Ashishta Muni didn't do the yajna.
Which one?
For Ram.
No.
Oh, that is
Rishashringa.
Rishashringa. Rishi with the horns of a deer. Yeah.
Putrakamishti.
Putresti. Yeah. So it's good. Now you know this pastime, you can understand how wonderful the Bhagavatam is weaving for us to actually appreciate it. So Srila Prabhupada quotes this verse from the Padma Purana. Sadkarma nipuno vipro mantra tantra visharadaha vaishnavo guruna syad vaishnava swapacho guru. So swapacho means what? Dog eater. Even that person can become a Vaishnava if they know the science of Krishna properly. And to become a knower of science of Krishna, you must become a Vaishnava. And to become a Vaishnava, you must serve a Vaishnava. Who is the example? Narad Muni. Yeah. It's all in the Bhagavatam. You just have to, open your mind and say, yeah, this is how it happens. In one sense, Narad Muni, they are all pure devotees, but they are playing a part for our sake. to appreciate. This is how you get the mercy. So any chance you all have, you should try to serve some advanced devotees, whether locally or you go on parikram or pilgrimage, wherever you meet, you always take the mood of a servant. Because servant, as I say, servant, service and
So,
the person you serve. This three is spiritual, transcendental. Okay, like that. Alright, text 8.
अतः भगवान् ऋषभदेव स्ववर्षं कर्मक्षेत्रम् अनुमन्यमान प्रदर्शिता गुरुकुलवासो लब्धा वरैर्गुरुभिर् अनुज्ञातो गृहमेदिनां धर्मान् अनुशिक्षमानो जयन्त्यम् इन्द्रदत्तायम् उभयलक्षणम् कर्म समां नायन्नातम् अभियुञ्जन् आत्मजानम् आत्मसमानानं सतं जनायम् आशा.
After Nabi, Maharaj departed for Badrik Ashrama. The Supreme Lord, Rishabhadeva, understood that his kingdom was his field of activities. He therefore showed himself as an example and taught the duties of a householder by first accepting brahmacharya under the direction of spiritual masters. He also went to live at the spiritual master's place, Gurukula. After his education was finished, he gave gifts, Guru Dakshina, to his spiritual masters and then accepted the life of a householder. He took a wife named Jayanti and begot 100 sons who were as powerful and qualified as he himself. His wife Jayanti had been offered to him by Indra, the king of heaven. Rishabhadeva and Jayanti performed householder life in an exemplary way, carrying out ritualistic activities ordained by the Shruti and Smriti Shastra.
So why are they called ritualistic activities and not devotional activities? Because he's already trained to be a devotee.
What do you mean? Carrying out ritual ordained by the Shruti, time, place and circumstance. Okay. In that age, they are supposed to do to set examples. Otherwise, the common people won't do those things, and then they cannot get liberated. So he was exemplary. Yad yad achariti svestas. And Krishna says, if I don't do it, then the people will become sinful. So similarly, the Lord is showing by example. And then you can see here, again it's interesting because Nabi leaves and he's still a young person. So he goes to Gurukul. Which means we all need a spiritual guide. You cannot deny that. Huh?
Also, ritual means there's no negative connotation.
No, it's not negative.
Yeah.
Not negative.
You don't have to use the word.
You shouldn't think of it actually. Yeah. It's not. So we all need spiritual guidance and we need to learn also. Oftentimes when, like for example, for a lot of us, we take initiation, we think we've done, that's it. It's great. No, but actually it's just initiation means you are beginning, initiated into something. So what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to learn about God, learn about your culture. What are the things you can actually improve on? What are the things you can adopt based on your understanding, like that. Not just blindly, okay, let's do it, I've done it, like that. No. Practicality must be there and purpose must be understood. Okay. So after he went through his education, so similarly we should be studying Prabhupada's books. We have to understand it under some systematically studying it. Prabhupada mentions it several times in his books. One should study properly under the proper guidance, and then okay, what to do, how to do it. At least, even though sometimes you may read and appreciate it, you may not fully know, but the knowledge is there, and later on you will know, this is what it means sometimes. So then, before he even became a grihastha, he practiced brahmacharya. So this also you can know that if you didn't go through those things, at least your children and so on you can guide, or someone young you can encourage them because it allows them to focus. The mind can be controlled easily. Yeah. Then also giving gifts. This is a part of the culture as well as the Vaishnava etiquette also. 6 loving exchange. Yeah. Generally when you give gift, it's out of love you give, not otherwise. So then the question is, did Indra give out of love? Well, yes. Otherwise he won't choose someone nice for Rishabdev. You know? He realized his mistake and then he gave. So it's wonderful. So it's a cultural thing. So I made a mistake. I want to show you that I don't hold any grudge or hard feelings. I also opening my heart to you. I accept you as one of you. It's a sign of affection actually. Yeah. So that's why we encourage devotees to exchange or give gifts. You know, out of don't expect. That's the thing. You give and don't expect. Yeah. Then you grow in your heart. Your heart will grow bigger, and Krishna will feel pleased. Even if the whole world is not pleased with you, who is pleased with you? Yeah, and you will feel jubilant. You will find that is the purpose behind the culture. The whole culture is to make you qualified. Okay. All right. So then, So the whole thing is, in case you are wondering like rituals or not. So Prabhupada wants to emphasize this mantra, Shruti Smriti Purana, the Pancharatra Vitti Vina Aikantiki Hare Bhakti Utpataya Iva Kalpate. Follow instructions received from Shruti Smriti. What is that for? According to Pancharatrika Vitti. So it's Vaishnava. So just like I think Raghunath Das Goswami writes in the book, there is 10 samskars that the Vaishnavas do. There's about like 16, 20 samskars, but he has identified 10 important for Vaishnavas. From ordinary point of view, it's just another ritual. But these samskars are very important because they give impressions. What kind of impressions? Krishna conscious impressions or positive impressions. And therefore, we partake in those kind of things. Then we don't see them as rituals, in the wrong connotation. But having said that, rituals on its own is still better. Exactly, it is part of Vedas. Okay, so it elevates the person to a higher platform of guna. And that's why we follow rituals in any case. If you cannot elevate someone to the Vaishnava status, at least elevate them to the...
For a goodness?
If not, then at least following the practices in the ritual, Karma Kanda platform, at least. Yeah. That is still better. Because why? Karma Kanda still?
Better than
Yes, it's still, what does it do? Purifies them. Then brings them to goodness. Text 9.
येषां खलु महायोगी भरतो ज्येष्ठ श्रेष्ठ गुणा आसीदेनैदं वर्षं भारतम् इति व्यापिनिषन्ति.
Of Rishabhadeva's 100 sons, the eldest named Bharata was a great exalted devotee qualified with the best attributes. In his honor, this planet has become known as Bharatavarsha. Prabhupada gives another name also. It's called Punya Bhumi. Why he says that? Yeah, one of the reasons is the Lord takes birth in Bharatvarsha. Now remember, Bharatvarsha is the whole planet also.
Great sages.
Huh?
And great sages appear.
And great sages also. Very good, yeah. And so, over the time, Bharatvarsha from the planet went to continent, to now to India, and now only to some holy places. Right? Because otherwise all other places they are doing nonsense, even in India. Even in Vrindavan they are doing nonsense now. So, you know. So, Mahaprabhu made a very strong statement, so most of you will feel very attached to this statement. Bharata bhumite haya manasya janmayara janma sartaka karikara para upakara. That means if you take birth in the Holy Land, you should go out and give the message of the